Hello, guys, and welcome back to the channel. I feel so excited today as I am about to finally take on this pantry makeover. I designed this pantry about a year ago. It was installed so beautifully, and then I never got around to properly organizing it and finishing it out as I was hoping to. So I have been collecting baskets over the last year, different kinds of containers. I have the label maker. I have so many things to play around with. It is a corner pantry, which can be a little bit harder to organize and sort of plan for, but I love the way the pantry turned out. But it has been sort of a disaster, definitely an area of the house that I have been avoiding. I even thought about hiring someone to help me, but now that I've had a little bit of a mindset shift, I'm committing myself to this project and I feel so very excited about it. So, before I get started, I am going to show you guys the insane state of the current pantry. And then I'll sort of get organized. I'll get moving things around, seeing how this is going to go. And then I'll pick you guys back up when I'm well into the process. So let me show you what we're working with. We had a little bit of a situation. We had some hooks on this wall for bags, like tote bags, paper bags, things like that, because we end up using them for all kinds of things, like bringing things to other people and, going on trips and things. You need that. And some of the hooks fell off the wall. I pulled them out. I don't think the anchors were very secure. So, things look crazy right now. Let me show you. Okay, so you can see we have some very high ceilings in this pantry. We have the cutest support shelves or supports for the shelves. And it's all wood and well painted, very well made. We have a countertop in here, which is lovely, along with outlets. And then these two lower shelves, we have some of this is for organizing the pantry and some not only for organizing the pantry, but also for some of the kitchen cabinets and drawers, which I will show you guys. And here are a bunch of bags from the lower hook over here falling off. That one's still up there. But yes, we don't have, this is basically as much like food items as we really have in the pantry because I'm not a big snacker. My husband likes beef jerky, that's about it. And not much comes in bags and boxes other than like rice and pasta, a little bit of flour, little bit of sugar, some of the staples for sure, but not too many like sauces and things like that. And so I'm really going to just make this look beautiful and be functional for our lifestyle. I am big on hosting, so although I don't have much right now, I have been slowly collecting like 100% linen napkins and tablecloths. I really love that like billowing oversized look. I also can my own items. It's something that I've been doing for a couple of years and would like to start getting more into. So I really want to prep this for canning, for hosting, for all the practical things. And I'm really, really excited for this. The one thing that I don't have on hand, and hopefully I will get something ordered and installed for like a final reveal in this video, but I would like to put either brass or polished nickel curtain rod, like a custom one, mounted on the underside of this counter so that I can do a really beautiful cafe curtain to cover up the two bottom shelves, just for the food items that don't look very good, for more of the unpleasant, cluttery items. I'm going to make, I think, the bottom shelf down here for like our dog food and things like that. So, anyway, the top will be prettier and more practical, easily accessible items, and the bottom for, let's say, more of like pets and backstock. So, I am going to basically take everything out of here and start brainstorming in my head what the game plan is. And once I know what's going on, I will pick you guys up and let you know what the plan is and take you through the whole process. Let's do it. All right, guys. I have the pantry fairly cleaned out. At least the bottom half is cleaned out. I'm going to give it a good wipe down and clean. I'm going to grab the ladder too, just to take out this hosting stuff. I really just want to start with a clean slate. I did want to mention while I have this cleared out, when I was designing the pantry, I created it's just a real rough sketch, but to design the pantry, I went through and I measured a lot of these things that I had been collecting for a long time, measured like heights of canisters and things that I knew I would be using so that I could figure out what the shelf heights were going to be. And so then I could determine, how many shelves we would have and how high up we would go. So there are particular shelves for particular things. It's something that I spent a few weeks on, really thoroughly thinking about, like I said, measuring the items that I already had. And then, thank God, I kept the sketch. So you might have seen on Instagram while I was ordering a couple of the new organizational things that I needed, like a couple of the extra canisters that I already have, just another pack of them, and some like Williams Sonoma rattan baskets. I was in here sort of measuring to see what baskets would fit on what shelves. And while I was doing that, I was referencing the sketch that I pulled out of my little archive. So while I was taking things out, I kept them sort of categorized, like this is snacks, this is dog stuff. Over here is like cooking pantry items and so on. So now that I have that done, I'm going to clean the bottom half out, pull out the top half, and then because I'd like a little like quick hit of satisfaction for getting something done, I think I'm going to pull out the label maker and label my canisters, like make pretty labels to give me a little motivational boost to get through the second half of this thing. So I'll show you guys once I get there. Hello guys and welcome back. It has been about a week since I picked up the camera. I filmed some before of this pantry and it is finally done. It has been one of the most fun and satisfying personal home projects that I've tackled in this house, and I'm so excited to show you. So I didn't film while I was in the process too much because, to be honest, a majority of my time was sitting here in the kitchen, brainstorming, really thinking about where I was going to put things, categorizing them and seeing how big categories were, and really just dreaming this whole thing up. So it was a lot of sitting in silence, just really brainstorming. So there wasn't that much to show you, but now that everything is in place, I can really walk you through and talk about the things I did and why I did them. Although it's not 100% perfect, instead of continuing to wait, I just thought, well, it's never going to be perfect. So I'm going to show you guys how it is now. There's a couple things still coming in the mail that I'm going to switch out, but I'll talk you through all of that as we go. So let's get into it. Okay, so here is the corner pantry. I did end up organizing the entire kitchen and laundry room and cleaning closet under the stairs to get this done because certain things that came out of here needed to go in other places. So really, it ended up being a bigger project than just the pantry, but I'm very happy with how the pantry came out. This actually still needs to be put away up top. I just didn't want to get out the ladder, but anyway, okay, we'll start with the counter. Here is the counter. It's basically a toast station right here. And then the rest of this, I didn't have room in the utensil drawer in the kitchen for my wooden spoons and spatulas. So instead, I just put them in that pitcher, which I think actually looks nice. It's like a nice decorative but practical element in here. We have one rolling pin, which full disclosure, I've never used, and my sourdough um, knife, which I do use. Here we have Dasequin, which is the joint medication that we give our big dogs. You can see I put these labels on everything. I will link the label maker below. And then using the label app, you can create a layout and choose your font and size and all of that. So I created that little one. This is a vintage butcher paper dispenser. So you just pull it out and then you rip it on that. Very practical. We use butcher paper for a lot of things because we try to reduce as much like plastic as possible, even like parchment paper, tin foil, saran wrap, all of that. So that is nice to have out. I still have a hook that we need to hang. Ow. Right here. It came out of the wall. But again, that's something that I will do later. We have this, which is a tortilla press. Really, I just thought it looked nice out and we didn't have somewhere to put it at the moment. So, okay. So underneath the countertop is where we have these two, which is all like carb snacks, cookies, popcorn, pretzel chips, masa chips, crackers for charcuterie, that sort of a thing. And then an entire bin the same size, which is all beef jerky, beef sticks, that sort of thing. That's really our snack of choice. We have mason jar lids with our backup mason jars. This, which is for broths and stocks. So even when I can my own broth and stock, it will go in here. Soup season is right around the corner. So I know we're going to have quite a bit of that. So I dedicated an entire crate to that. And these beautiful little tags. The tag itself is from Michaels, and then it's just a label from the label printer that I had. So those are super cute. It really makes it feel like a store in here. Down here are back there, those little towers are for flies. When we're eating outside, I can put those around the platters so that flies don't get on the food. This is a crate dedicated to my husband's outdoor grilling supplies. The spatulas and things tend to be much larger, so they're hard to store in drawers. That's something to keep in mind. This large basket is backup seasonings. We do have a drawer with seasonings in the kitchen, but this is a back stock of the really mostly these big like Costco size seasonings or things that we get from Restaurant Depot are seasonings that we typically use for big batch cooking. Like, for example, Old Bay seasoning, we use that when we have people over because we'll do like 40 chicken thighs, or the lemon pepper seasoning because we'll do like 60 chicken wings. So that sort of stuff we have in here. It also will allow us to refill our seasoning drawer. We have these cutting boards. They were in a kitchen drawer, but it was really annoying for them all to be on top of each other. So now they're here. This will probably move. It's a crate of just backup like serveware and utensils and things. I sort of still need to figure that out. This one right here is for umami. So canned tomatoes, tomato paste, fish sauce, soy sauce, miso, anchovies, anything like that will go in there. And then this does not belong here, but this one is for all of our back stock of grains. So pasta, like this giant thing of rice that we buy from Costco, things like that. Actually, a lot of this is going to be cleared out when I get the remaining canisters that I need to be on display up here, which let me show you. One shelf above the counter is where we have our pasta, rice, flour. So, and then like these, I need matching canisters for that. So I'm waiting, but I labeled all of these. The words on the bottom kind of say like what section or category it would be in. So like all of this here is baking and it says that. Here, these say grains. We have onions here, which let me explain. We do have a drawer in the kitchen where we have put lemons and potatoes. You cannot store your potatoes next to your onions because they will both go bad so fast. They do not like each other. You can look it up. It's like the fumes that come off of them as they sit there make, for example, your potatoes sprout and your onions go bad, excuse me. So we're keeping the onions in here. We typically have tons of onions. I use onions for everything. And then here, this section is for things that I can. So I wanted them to be on display because they're so beautiful. I'm quite proud of them. And I'm going to have a lot more canned goods prepared in here in the next month or so. So we have garlic confit, vanilla extract. That's not going to be good for another like 3 to 6 months, but I just did that. And then pickled red onion. And then basically everything up here is all serveware. So this whole shelf is basically white ironstone or a little bit of yellowware. So it's ceramic and ironstone. The next shelf up is all wood bowls, cake stands, pedestals, trays, that sort of thing. Then the next one up, sorry about this shot, guys, but the next one up is all metal. So silver ice buckets, pedestal bowls, that sort of thing is up there. And then at the very top, we have candlesticks and other things that wouldn't fit down here, like our LED lamps that we use for parties and that sort of a thing. So it ended up actually looking so beautiful. I was not expecting to put my serveware in here, but now that it's in here, it feels like a store. It's all of the beautiful things that I've collected for so long. Now I get to see them on display, and it really does feel like a dream come true. I mean, I've caught myself just walking in here and staring. So I'm really, really happy about this. It's all super functional. One thing that I do want to mention to you guys is um, I ended up really loving having these tags, and these baskets ended up being the best baskets that I bought. They are from Amazon. They're extremely durable. Like you could put a gallon jug of water or like three and still carry it around without it bowing or anything. These things are tanks. And these are also well made. These are from Williams Sonoma. I think Pottery Barn also has them. They just come in a different color, I believe. But these are very well made, except there's no way to add a label to them. Like this is so tightly woven that I couldn't thread anything through there to put a hang tag. And because it's textured like this, you can't really stick anything to it to label it. And I really wouldn't want to do that anyway. So I'm thinking about getting two more of these baskets to replace these. We'll see if the size and all of that works, but these Williams Sonoma baskets are great. They're just not quite as durable. I like the look of the other one better, and you can label them. So although they're a little bit more expensive, these baskets, it's crazy how much they charge for these baskets to begin with. So I've been collecting this stuff for at least 8 months. And I will link all the stuff that I used down below, like the black iron crates and all of that, but super exciting. I love the canisters with the dark wood. I think it's a nice contrast. And yeah, I there's one thing which is Some of the serveware, like I might take one category out eventually when we get a armoire or something here, so that I can have it on display and maybe put one of those like scrunched up curtains if it has glass doors, like that sort of a thing, and put like a nice set of china or something in there. So, anyway, things are going to be evolving over time. This is what we have right now, but I did try to organize things with the future in mind, thinking about what collections would be growing, what kind of things I will be accumulating more of, and that sort of a thing. So, I really did put a lot of thought into that. And I will show you a little bit of what I did in the kitchen. Um, Here, this still needs some work too. I would like to find canisters that match for seasonings, but these inserts I found on Amazon instead of getting them custom made just for the sake of time. But I need to get canisters and then use the label maker to really get this dialed. But this is the seasoning drawer. And then under here, for example, I have put this silicone liner in here so that all of the drawers are protected. I did this in every drawer in the entire kitchen to really preserve our cabinetry. So that way, like down here, if there's a spill of olive oil or something, nothing is going to get damaged. As I mentioned, separating the onions from the potatoes. So because our stove is right here, I put citrus and potatoes. This empty one, sweet potato, which we normally have um in the house, but I am due to get groceries and we're about to go out of town again, so that is empty for now. And then in here, I put, originally this stuff I was going to put in the pantry, but this is stuff that you need on hand in a pinch, like while you're cooking. So here we have olive oil. This is oils and vinegars. This just wouldn't fit. It won't stand up straight. So that is why it's laying down. We have Wagyu, tallow, all of the things. Here is sauces. So mayo, salsa, hot sauce. We don't have too many things like that, but I'm really happy with this. I think it's very important to do that silicone lining. And yeah, I'm really happy with how all of this has turned out. I will show you guys also. I'm in the middle of cooking. The kitchen is always in use, so it really never ends. I wrote on postcards on index cards as I was organizing, and I would just toss these in a drawer because I had all of the drawers cleared out. And sometimes you make a decision, but you have 20 things going on at once, so you forget. So that was helpful to just toss a note card in the drawer until you get it filled back up. But here are mini things. Little bowls and little plates, little salt cellars, little like ice cream dishes and things. Again, this just makes me so happy to finally see all of my collections together. I have had so many realizations actually about my collections while I've been organizing, like the commonality and how I choose things. So that's definitely something I'm going to go through for you guys in another video because I had many realizations that I wasn't even conscious of until I started doing this. The fun stuff, color and pattern, plates. This, which is all of my linens, napkins. These are napkin rings, a little napkin holder for like cocktail napkins, and two linen tablecloths. This, I'm not 100% on whether I'm going to keep this in here. Probably if we get an armoire over there, I would put it over there with like dishes if there's drawers in the bottom of the armoire.
But for now, this is something that I use more often than I use like a serveware platter because I like to use these even when it's my husband and I eating. So I wanted them to be more accessible. I wasn't really expecting to show you guys everything, but here's the Tupperware. I need to find something to organize this so that the lids and stuff aren't everywhere. But for now, my method is to put the lid on the Tupperware so that you don't have just lids all over and things don't stack up. So that's the only tip I have for that for now. And then we have some empty drawers, which is exciting. These, I'd like to get those wooden organization things, but I need to stop buying the giant size if I'm going to do that because the organizers are only for the small size, which means you can't have the large size items from like Restaurant Depot or Costco because they're just not compatible. And then this I think is empty too. Yeah. So placemats. So that is it for now. I will show you over here. I ended up putting the big vases and planters in here that wouldn't fit in other places. And honestly, they just look good displayed like that. And then I had my vases in the laundry room actually in this cabinet, which was really annoying because I had to crawl up on the counter or get on a ladder to get to them. And I constantly need vases. So instead, I have all the vases in here, which is nice. And it makes this wet bar cabinet look much nicer. Before there was mismatched candlesticks and they had melted wax all over them. And it just really wasn't as pretty as it is now. So I categorize things like here are all of my blue vases, and I just hid the bud vases behind so you can't really see. Here is like butter, yellow, and ivory, silver, white, and then sort of like miscellaneous at the top. And then I made the middle section just all crystal. So crystal glassware, even bud vases, bowls. I did notice through doing this and like thinking about the categories, a lot of the items that I use to decorate, like as home decor, actually are dual purpose for the kitchen. Like the bowls at the top, or even like the vases, the candles, things like that. I do have backup home decor, or I should say back stock of home decor in the closet upstairs. But I was able to bring a lot of it down here and just display it with the kitchen items because I can use it in the kitchen for serveware or for tablescapes, but also I can use it around the house if I want to restyle a vignette or something like that. So that was nice. Here are a couple of things that, four things right now that are homeless, which, given that I just reorganized like at least half my house, this is not bad. This is the only stuff that does not have like an established home. So I will figure that out down the road. But these two I know I'm going to keep, and these two I'm not sure. I was gifted this vase with some flowers from a friend, and I've never used it since. And the canister, I do actually think I'll use, but as Christmas decor. So maybe I'll just store that in a Tupperware with Christmas decor. This I use for orchids when they come, or that's what I've done in the past. And this is a vintage find from many years ago that I bought actually for this house. And I had envisioned painting it in a gloss paint to match the house. So at the time I bought it, I had no idea what color I would be painting walls and stuff. I just knew that I loved it and that I didn't have room in the rental house, so I bought it. And one of the feet was broken, but my husband fixed it last night with epoxy. So now it's ready to be painted, or maybe that's a sin and I should leave it. I've kind of been having cold feet about it, but I do need to find a home for it. So, one other thing, I was thinking about maybe saving, showing you guys everything like for another video, but I'm just going to show everything now. So this is our laundry room. It's almost done, but there's still a little bit of organizing that needs to be done. I will show you guys regardless. And it's also not done because I have a beautiful light fixture that needs to get installed, and I need to buy the rest of the wallpaper so that we can wallpaper all of the walls in here. But nonetheless, here we are. I bought those, they're actually wine crates, vintage wine crates from France. I don't know how vintage they are, but I know that they're wine crates from France. And I use them as storage bins, which is, they just look beautiful. And then I made the same sort of labels. So we have cords, like extension cords and things like that, bulbs and batteries, repair, and then this one floral arranging. And the one at the top, it might not stay at the top, but I have 2 more of these wine boxes that I need to give a good scrub and let them sit out in the sun, which is what I did with these to clean them, for dog things. And then I think this brass pot that I use to like throw tons of flower stems in while I'm making arrangements, or I use it to clean. I think I'm going to put it under the sink. And then, yeah, I tried to organize in here as best as possible. Still, this area needs some work. This is really an empty cabinet. It just got to be so late last night that I threw some stuff in here so that the house looked tidy. But I'm happy to see that I have more room than I thought I did. So that is a great sign. It just felt a little bit cluttered in the house because it was so unorganized. So anyway, that is it for now, guys. One last little bit of this. It's so good. Okay, guys, little bonus section to show you how I made these labels. I actually filmed these videos on my phone, so I cannot pull up the app, but the app is very easy to go through. I believe I used one of their templates on the app. I just deleted a couple of elements and switched it up. So I'll give you a close up of what the labels look like. And this small part that says citrus down here is in bold, even though it doesn't really look like it. And then I made on all of the labels, whatever the word is at the top, I made it as big as possible. Another thing that I will mention is that when you have 2 rows of the big words, you want them to be in separate text boxes. Otherwise, okay, so like 00 pizza is one text box, and then I duplicated that text box and wrote flour. Because if you keep them in the same text box, even when you make the font really big, it's not big like this. It has a limit, I think, due to the margins. I think I kind of jumbled the way I was explaining this, but I hope that made sense. I can't show you actually creating the labels on the app because my phone is videotaping this for you. So what you do from the app is you create the label, you literally hit print, it Bluetooth connects to here, and it prints right out of the top. This barely has any buttons. You put the labels in here, you close it, you press on power button, and that's literally it. Now it will print out. I will say you don't want to print just a ton of them and let this keep going, because this the labels will slightly adjust and start coming out crooked. So I was doing like 2 or 3 at a time and then double checking that they didn't come out sideways. Often they do, like you can see here, um it's missing the little black frame lines on the side. So you just kind of have to keep an eye on it. Like I wouldn't walk around the kitchen and just type and print off my phone with this over here without kind of keeping an eye on it. You sort of want to make a station, keep an eye on it, and do it like that. So I created a list of things as I was walking around that I needed to make labels for, and then would sit down and do it. That is my one tip. And then I'm going to show you guys, let's see, these are the tags. They just come in a little sleeve like this. I think it was like $5 or under for a pack of these from Michaels. They're this beautiful ivory color. I would say there's sort of an off-white and this is ivory, but it looks really great with these true white labels to have a little bit of that contrast, especially in like my pantry, because this is like the shelf color and then you have a little bit of contrast with the white label. So they looked really nice. I ended up untying these knots and then measuring, you know, the length that I need it to be and then retying a knot and clipping the rest off. It was just easier that way. And there was one that I tried to just tie it where it needed to be and then clip it off and it didn't turn out right. So keep that in mind and then I'll show you. You literally just take this pre-made tag. I made sure that all of the tags were going the same direction. I would lay them all out like a row and then put the labels on them so that when you tie them on, you don't have some labels going this way and some going this way. And especially once you put the sticker label on, you want all of the words to be going the same way. So I did the pantry first, all going the same way, and then I went to the kitchen because some of those had to be going different way. I didn't want to get confused. And so yeah, that's all you do. You take this label. I didn't worry about like measuring where I was going to stick this on there. I just eyeballed it because some of these labels weren't printed. They were printed like slightly crooked or whatever, but I sort of like that homemade feel. So I wasn't getting too crazy with it. Just literally take the label, stick it on, and that's it. It's so simple and they look great. So there's my little bonus segment. I figured even though I explained that while I was going over things, it's not the same as seeing it for yourself. So I hope that makes sense. Even this little label maker is so cute. It sort of has that retro vibe. And this label hack, I don't even know if I would call it a hack, but this little label thing that I came up with, I really think it was like the cherry on the cake to the organizing. It's feels magical when I'm doing my like daily chores or cooking because it feels like a store. And this is something that I'm definitely going to use in other places around the house. I will also mention in the pantry, those Williams Sonoma containers, I am going to switch them out with the other more sturdy baskets so that everything matches in the pantry. And I think that it's just going to end up being more practical. And then those Williams Sonoma rattan sort of lighter color baskets that the snacks are in, I'm going to use them in the master bathroom drawers because they perfectly match the wood color of the inside of the drawers. And right now we just have like mix matched acrylic or white plastic containers in there. Like whatever we moved with is what I used because the organization bits can get a little bit expensive. So we're doing this low and slow over time. I'm keeping this relatable because this is real life. And I just wanted to give you guys that update. One thing I will mention is if you really like those Williams-Sonoma containers and you would want to use them for something, Pottery Barn has the same ones. I double checked for you guys. That is more of a honey tone. It's a little bit of a warmer tone, not like that sort of whitewashed look that matches the other baskets, the more sturdy baskets that I have in the pantry. So if you were looking for a slightly different color, go to Pottery Barn. They are a little bit more expensive by like 10 bucks or something, but you're already kind of spending the money if you like those baskets. So Williams-Sonoma has the really light color ones and the really dark walnut ones, and Pottery Barn has the same baskets but just a mid-tone. So yeah, okay, guys, that is it for my pantry and kitchen makeover. We're not quite done yet, but I figured that I would show you guys anyway. I am so excited to get to work in the kitchen now that it's all properly organized. If you made it this far in this video, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next week for another one. Bye.